You are listening to North Georgia Business Radio, coming to you from the Business Incubator at Brenau University. This is the radio station that is pro-business, and it gives a voice to the businesses in our community and the people who run them, because we need to hear these stories. We need to know the people and the great things they're doing in the community. I'm here with Dr. Bill Lampton. How you doing, Dr. Bill?
Doing great today, and we've got some exciting, highly informative guests.
I'm excited. Why don't we just jump right into it? Let's bring in our first business and let's get to know these people a little bit.
Very fine. Our first business that we are featuring is Peach State Bank. We have with us Ron Quinn, who is the founding president and still president after 14 years, and also Susan Williams, marketing and human relations for the bank. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Ron, when we look back at the banking industry over the last 14 years, there have been many changes. So what is it you attribute your ongoing success to?
I think being a local bank that we are investing our depositors' money back into our market has been a big success for our bank. If somebody opens an account with Peach State Bank, that money actually stays in this region, and we're able to turn around and loan it to other small businesses in the community to help them grow and continue growing.
And that's really what we mean by a local bank. It benefits this community, and that's one thing that Bo and I stress every week on this program, is that our guests are people who are involved in the community in many, many ways, in addition to their business. I would imagine you have other involvements as well.
Yes, we actually have our board of directors is all local men and women in the business community in Gainesville and Hall County that know the market, know the people, know the places, know the value of real estate, so it's easy for us to make a decision. We're in one location, so if we needed a quick answer on a loan, we can get it usually pretty quickly.
And speed is important when you're looking for financing.
Absolutely. Our customers depend on someone who can get a decision to them fairly quickly, so we pride ourselves on being able to do that for them.
Well, Susan, one of the questions I have, and we've talked about this in different ways over the years, is what is the difference between the stand you guys taken as a local community bank and these big branch banks out there?
Well, in my opinion, I think that just the fact that one of the first things I noticed when I came to work at the bank was you can call us and get us on the phone. You know, if you call any large company, you have to go through 10 extensions. My mom was telling me yesterday she had called a place in Gainesville that was a larger company, and she had to go through like jump hoops just to get to the person that she wanted. So, you know, with us, I think we can help somebody. We answer the phone. If the person that answers the phone can't help them, we get them to somebody right then that can. And plus the fact of we've always kidded around. We try to all know our customers when they come in the door. We greet them and we call them by their name. We hopefully know their mom and dad and their kids, and just make it a true community bank.
So that's a throwback idea. So relationship banking, that's still out there. We can find that at Peach State Bank and Trust.
You can.
Love it.
Well, one of the things I think about, Susan, you bring to mind is not only do you not reach a person directly, but as you say, you have to go through so many hoops to do it. I know there's some places I call where I want to tell them, I don't need to know where you're located. I don't need to know your hours. I don't need to know your vast range of services. Just get me to somebody.
Yeah. A live person. Yeah.
Well, Ron, one of the things with banking, and I know Susan from years ago in banking, so I know that it takes a lot of a good team, and it has the right people in the right seats on the bus to make a bank work in the community here. Tell us a little bit about the experience and the team you've put together and why things have been going. 14 years of running a bank, and we've seen many come and go. There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty good success rate because of the people we have been able to attract. Our average lender has about 35 years of experience. So as banks have come and gone, other banks acquire community banks. 3 years ago, there were 5 community banks in our market. Now we're the last one left. So as these other banks get acquired, we've been able to go out and attract some very good lenders that we know in the market, and from tellers to CSRs, bookkeepers, loan operations. As these mergers continue to happen, we're able to pick up some very good talent. And that's really what makes us a success, is the people that we've got. So
let's talk about boards for a minute. I worked in the not-for-profit arena for a couple of decades, and I knew how boards operated there. What are the responsibilities of someone on a bank board, and what are the qualifications that you look for?
We actually have 4 different boards at our bank, so I can't give you a general overview of all of them. We have a holding company that actually owns our bank, and the holding company, their major responsibilities, if we decide we want to build a new building, open a branch, we want to sell stock to raise more capital, the holding company would make those decisions. Our bank board is all local business people that help us serve on different committees like our loan committee, our audit committee, that know what's going on in this market, and if we have a quick response to someone, we can call them and call a special meeting if we need to get an answer for them. So they're always on call, and I'm glad to come out and be part of it. Plus, they know the community. We also have a community development board, which kind of helps Susan with our marketing program. These are a lot of different diverse business people in the community from all types of industries, that if we see a need that we may not be hitting the poultry market, or we may not be hitting the Hispanic market, we try to go out and use these individuals to help us come up with a more aggressive marketing plan. And then back in 2012, we realized that about 80% of our customers were over the age of 50. So we do need to get some more young people in here. So we started a youth development board back in 2012. And these young millennials are in telling us how to get new business to the bank with the new generation of customers out there. And they've been very successful at that. We've got 13 young professionals that serve on that board and do a great job for us. And since 2012, now we have about 25% of our customers under the age of 30, which is good. So we want to keep community banking going for a long time.
Well, Ron, when people talk about their money, I hear these conversations all the time. They want to know that it's secure and safe. Let's talk a little bit about financial ratings. And I know the Bauer Financial Rating is something we wanted to bring up.
Yeah, Bauer Financial is an independent company that started back in 1983, and they rate every bank in the country, over 5,500 banks. Every quarter when we file our financials with the FDIC, they take our call reports and analyze our financial information, and they'll give you a rating from a 1 to a 5, with 5 being an excellent, 4 being superior. Peach State has been in the 5 rating for many years now, and we continue to stay a superior, excellent rated bank. They look at all facets of your portfolio for loans, your capital ratings, and Peach State's been very strong for several years. So.
Susan, it seems to me, looking at your title of marketing and human resources, you have external responsibilities and internal as well.
I do. I enjoy them, most all of them, most days. But I enjoy customers, but I love our employees. I think we've just got, I'm a little prejudiced, but I think we've got the best bank. We've got a great team.
Well, there are many management leaders who have said the way you treat your employees is going to determine how many customers you have and keep.
Yeah.
Well, I can say something true. Every time I call Peach State, reach out to Susan because I've known her, she answers the phone. Well, I mean, that is different. We talked about
what
that.
What a novel idea.
I know. It's relationship banking. I will unname a bank, but I had to go cash a check at a big bank, and I had to go wait in line at a teller for about 15 minutes for them to tell me I had to go get it approved at the manager. It took about 10, 15 minutes, and I had to go get back in line. And people don't have time for that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it makes a big difference when you can come in, somebody knows your name, and they can get you taken care of. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit, Susan. I know I'm always excited because I get emails about events and community things you're doing. Talk a little bit about that, some stuff you've done that you're excited and proud about, and some stuff coming up maybe.
Well, we have had our Low Country Bowl in April. This will be the fifth year that we've had that. We usually have probably, I would say, over 400 people attend. We have it after hours in our parking lot and set up a big tent, and it's absolutely a lot of fun, unless it pours down rain. We have our BLT luncheon coming up on Wednesday, August the 7th. This will be just the 3rd year in a row that we've done it, and we do it at lunch. We have big tent. We have all the fixings for BLT sandwiches, and we've had just a lot of people attend. My favorite thing that we do every year is our Christmas breakfast. We always have a Christmas breakfast, and we did it at the bank until we grew too big. And now the last 2 years we've had it at St. Paul in their fellowship hall across the street from the bank. And, you know, we just have probably, I'd say, between 300 and 400 people attend. We have just a big, huge breakfast. Everybody comes and just, it's just a lot of fun. And, you know, a lot of customers come every year. It's just, to me, a great service.
And in these events, we actually don't do business at those events. It's just a time for everybody to get together and socialize. And One of the things we also do that's not as big, but 2 or 3 times a year we'll have a cookout in the bank parking lot on a Friday, hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken sandwiches, and just invite people, customers and non-customers, to come by, have a meal with us, sit down and fellowship for a while.
To me, one of the big advantages of those events is that it brings the bank in on a more personal level. Many of us can remember when the view almost anybody had of banking and bankers, and in many cases it was well merited, was that bankers were austere, they were distant, they were very formal, they were not approachable. And one of the wonderful ways to take that out of the picture is to have these events where you sit down and you have a BLT with somebody, or you sing Christmas carols or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's not just our customers knowing us and us knowing our customers on a more personal level, but the fact that if they need something, they can just come right in our office on Washington Street and the decision's made right there. You know, Ron doesn't have to call anybody. Well, he might have to call somebody to get something approved. So, you know, the other banks, there's possibly good people, I'm sure, but they do have to make that phone call to somebody that's in another state that possibly has never been to Gainesville. They've never been to the downtown square. They've never been to Green's Grocery or Luna's or Poor Richard's or anywhere around here. They don't know this area. So I think that's the best thing ever.
How many of us like to hear, well, I've got to check with my supervisor?
Yeah.
Not many.
Well, Ron, one more banker question here.
Okay.
Talk to us a little bit about, I know one of the most important things at the bank is the loan portfolio. So let's talk about that and the strength of that portfolio.
Yeah, as all banks, what really makes a bank strong is how strong their loan portfolio is. And we all remember back in 2008, 9, and 10, and a lot of banks in Georgia went out of business. All banks suffered a little bit through a major recession. Peach State, we took that as an opportunity to get more rigorous on our underwriting to make sure that we put good loans on the books when we made loans. So right now, there's a company called S&L, which is a national company that ranks bank portfolios of all 5,500 banks in the country every quarter. Peach State, out of 169 banks in the state of Georgia, our loan portfolio is ranked number 5 in the state as of the end of the year. We're very proud of that rating because we try to make sure that we put good loans on the books that will support our community, but not take too aggressive of risk in the community. So.
Yep, and the strong financials means the bank's going to be there when you need them, right? We're not going to have to shift 5 years down the road. Well, another question, Ron, that comes up when we talk about, I can't believe it's been 14 years, did we say?
14 and a half,
It seems like it just went up yesterday. That's how fast time goes by. When a business has sustained for a long period of time, and we've seen many come and go, and I know we talked about the local people being important, but is there just kind of a key to success that you might give another business owner or even a young person getting into banking out there?
We'd like to get more young people into banking. So unfortunately, during a downturn, a lot of young people got away from banking because it wasn't exactly the best career to get into. But I think the big key to our success is the people we've been able to attain. Mm-hmm. We have very little turnover in our bank. Since our bank started 14 and a half years ago, we've had 2 that have passed on. We've had 3 or 4 that have retired, and we may have had to let go 1 or 2. But we pretty much, a lot of the people that started with the bank back in 2005 are still at the bank. And so having that consistency when you come in the bank that you see somebody you know and not a lot of turnover. If you come to our teller line, we're consistent. Again, as Susan said, we try to meet and greet you with a 3-second rule when you walk in the front door. We want to say hello. If we don't know your name, what can I help you with? So we think that's been a big part of our success.
I think it might be all the cookouts, too, that keep
that might be part 2. Plus, we have ice cream days. So.
Free food.
Well, Susan, one more for you. And this is somebody out there listening. Maybe they have a relationship like I was describing earlier, and they say, this just isn't cutting it. I'm not happy. Or they need to establish a banking relationship. Any ideas or points you say, hey, here's some things you need to think about when you're choosing a partner as a bank?
I think that, to me, just get to know, really talk to the person when you call the bank. Go in, ask questions, see how you connect, see if the person really cares, because I think that's what you'll get if you come to Peach State or if you call us. You'll find that somebody cares. They're not going to put you in an account that's not a good account for you. They're not going to steer you wrong just for the betterment of us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And I think just do you feel like a number, or do you feel like a person, maybe?
Exactly.
Very good.
Ron, one question is, of course, we've talked about the past and we've talked about the present. What do you see the future being over the next 5 to 10 years?
We feel like in this Gainesville market, over the last 5 years, Gainesville has outgrown every market in the state of Georgia. So right now there's 18 banks located in Hall County, and we think there's going to be more wanting to come into the market just because of a strongness of the governor's basically put in a governor deal with what he did over the last 8 years has made this area very strong and very business savvy that a lot of companies and other businesses want to come here as well as banks. So we anticipate more competition coming into the market, but being the one and only community bank left in town, we got a pretty good jump on the rest of them. So we tell them to come on, we'll compete every day. So.
Well, Ron, Quinn, Susan Williams, I appreciate you coming on North Georgia Business Radio. And listeners out there, check out Peach State Bank and Trust. There's always an event coming up somewhere to check out and meet the people where you'll feel like a person, a relationship, and not just a number. So thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Would we like their contact information?
Absolutely. What would be the best way, somebody out there that say, hey, I like what I'm hearing from these guys, to find out more about the bank or get in touch?
Well, they can go to www.peachstate.bank, or they can call us at 770-536-1100.
And you'll answer the phone.
Well, somebody will.
Somebody will.
Very good. So, Bill, let's jump to our, we talked about a bank that's been in town that stood the test of time. It's the one community bank left standing. Now we're going to talk about a business with roots that go back to 1898. And it's been in Gainesville for 50 plus years. And we're going to bring in Barry Zeeman from Barry's Menswear and Tuxedo. Welcome to the show, Barry.
Thank you. How you doing?
Doing great. Well, yeah, give us the 10,000-foot, 30-second version of that history of Barry's to today.
I'll try to not get too detailed, but if you go back to my great-grandfather, Abe Zeeman, who was the immigrant that came to this country from Eastern Europe, he wanted to get into the clothing business, and he came up with a creative way. He started selling sewing machines, and the ladies, in order to pay for the sewing machine in their house, they made piecework for him, where they made parts of garments. And he was able to put together garments that way and start a wholesale business as well as selling his sewing machines. And as we got into the next generation, and my grandfather, they got into the tailored menswear business on a manufacturing level and wholesale level, and they started selling to department stores and specialty stores. We might remember there used to be a lot of men's specialty stores back in the day when men dressed a lot more. And then as my father got involved, they expanded that wholesale trade more, and the manufacturing, and eventually got into retail a little bit.
Wow. So, and what about Gainesville? You've been in Gainesville for 50 plus years now?
Yeah, that's right. As you know, we used to manufacture here. I heard the story that my grandfather got hit on the head by a labor union mob, and so they decided, that was in New York City, they decided to move south where it was a little more business friendly, and we've stayed in this friendly area ever since.
Barry, it's interesting that yesterday I went to somebody who's been giving me a haircut for many years, and she listens to our show. She wanted to know who would be on today. I mentioned you and your company, and she said, guess what, Bill? When I was 16 years old, that was my first job, working in that factory.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to hear, that history is there in the community. I do hear that a lot. My mom, my grandma used to work for you and that kind of thing. We do have some roots here. We were a big employer at one time, and as far as our industry, we were probably one of the last to stick with the U.S. Not before before most of the industry moved to Asia or Latin America. We kept it going, the factory going as long as it was feasible.
Well, one of the questions that as I was reading kind of the background, they changed the name, right, to Barry's. Am I right, when you were 2 years old?
Yeah, now the name on the building on Brownsbridge, which is now Office Pros, that was our factory, and you used to be able to go in and buy a suit, and there was a window. You could look back and see people making the clothes while you were shopping. I would think it's about 15 years or so, we sold that building and relocated to where we are now, across from Lakeshore Mall. But yeah, it's what was the question again? I'm
Well,
sorry.
I
I got on a tangent.
No, just with that history, and then and I read when you were 2 years old, I believe that they changed the name to Barry's.
Yeah, so what I was going to say was the sign there, historically, the old sign, which I wish I still had it, it said Zeeman Manufacturing, maker of Barry clothes.
Okay.
So my grandfather that was the first time he put my name, I guess, on the building when I was about 2 years old. That's correct. So that was his continuation planning forethought, which was pretty good.
Well, I was going to say, so did you really have a choice?
Not really. I tried to run, but I couldn't hide.
Barry, you mentioned a minute ago how men's clothing styles have changed, and we're all aware of that. I can certainly remember, gosh, I guess it was about 15 or 20 years ago, the first time I got on a commercial flight, without a tie. Up until then, it was just almost mandatory that you do it. And you go back and you look at pictures of football games, college football games in the 1950s. The men were wearing suits. The ladies were wearing possibly suits and hats and heels. There have been a lot of changes. How have you adjusted with your company to the changes?
Well, we make less money now.
Sorry to hear that.
No, but it's definitely been a challenge over the years, and we've seen these trends evolve and ebb and flow, starting with the trend towards casual wear at work. I do the same thing when I go to the airport now or an event. I try to count how many people, or a church even now, how many people are wearing a suit, and there's not that many. And that was our bread and butter. Now we focus mostly, our industry is more event driven, and proms are very important, and any event that is going to be in a man or a boy's life, whether it's a dance or social event, a formal event, weddings, funerals, those are all kind of what we focus, or how we serve the community. I was just in the store a minute ago, and I'm really sorry to hear what happened to that police officer. Their whole family was just in our store, and we were taking care of them and turning around their wedding, their funeral outfits, and so we're there to serve however we can, and then that's not unlike Ron's bank. It's the personal service that I think keeps us above and beyond the competition, although there isn't a whole lot of competition as far as men's specialty stores, if you know what that means. A store where you can walk in and that's all you do, and you have people that actually know how to fit you, know how to mark your clothing for alterations, and in a lot of cases they might have known your family for a couple generations. So we have a lady, Clara Chambers, who's been with us for 54 years. She was actually a manager, office manager in the factory, and when we made the decision to close the factory, she wanted to stay with the company, and we got her started in sales, and she's been with us ever since. And our manager, Boone Strickland, who retired a few years ago, was with the company 50 years.
Wow.
Kind of a pillar in the community. And we commonly run into 2 and 3 generational customers, so it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Well, you're reminding me of what I think was one of the best business books in the last 30 years, Who Moved My Cheese? I don't know if you happen to read that, but it was a little short book, only about 95 pages, but the whole gist of it was, if you're not willing to adjust to the changes, you won't be around to see them.
That's right.
Well, this is funny. This is all tying together for me. So I think a lot of times you're right. It's events when we dress. I remember the first time I got a few suits was when 20-something years ago when I got a job at a bank. Right. So my question, Barry, is it something you could still? So somebody's out there, say they get that job at the bank, they could come in and you would help them actually pick out there's somebody there that would help pick out outfits, make sure they got the right kind of things.
Exactly.
They're not going to clash and embarrass themselves when they go to work, maybe.
Yeah, and that's the key, and that's what a true menswear specialty store as of old. When we try to keep those traditions like the old time specialty stores that maybe our dads or grandpas remember more, but that's been our theory, to try to combine that service with incredible value. So it's a tough road to work, but that's what we try to do. We know where all the best products are made, being in manufacturing for generations, and so we source the best products that we can find that are pretty similar or made in the same factories as other stores are selling for easily $100 more. So, and then we add the service feature, and we make sure, as this little flyer says, in the case if you're looking to rent or you're looking to purchase something for a job interview, we recommend you don't rent, because when you get something tailored for you, which you can't really do when you rent a tuxedo or a suit, it doesn't fit you just right. So it's all about the fit. You start with the quality garment, and then having the employees, the service, the wardrobe consultants, as we like to call them, that know how to fit you perfectly, and an excellent alteration staff that does a good job. That's all part of looking good and saving money.
So, question so we talked about proper tailoring. Is that something you guys do there, or is it something?
Yeah, we still do that in-house. You don't have to worry about taking it anywhere else. So it's a great convenience, and we know how to tailor the products that we sell.
That's good for somebody like me. If the shoulders fit, then I can't button it, or vice versa. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. We got a tailor in town.
Exactly. Yeah, we do accept outside tailoring as well.
Okay.
With the longevity of your company, there certainly must be some keys to customer service that you can share with our listeners.
Well, I think that the best, I hate to be a broken record, but nobody wants a suit that doesn't look good. So that's the first thing. Make sure they look good and they're fit properly.
A good product.
Yeah,
good product.
if you go to a department store, and there's other places in town you can buy a suit, or a discount store, it's, you're sometimes hard pressed to get that personal service from someone that really knows that class of merchandise. They might be from housewares, but they're over here helping in suits or whatever,
Right.
So you might find a good deal or a nice suit somewhere else, but you're not going to get the fit and the personal service, and that's what we offer, and it seems to be working.
Well, so this is the education for our listeners out there, the portion here. So the guy out there, maybe the average working guy that might, we're talking church, special events.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any things every guy should probably have when it comes to maybe dressing it up a notch?
Sure, that's a great question. Everybody should have lots of our suits in their closet. But obviously, you may guess that we sell a lot of black suits, because that goes with everything. You can dress it up, dress it down. You got a blazer, you have a pair of slacks, then you can wear separately. You can wear it with a tie, without a tie, with a casual shirt. So we sell a lot of basic, solid black, navy, charcoal suits for that reason. Of course, blazers are still around. They've changed a little bit, so we have a little more contemporary twist on those, and some seasonal twist on blazers as well in the store right now. Which you can dress up or dress down. So, those are kind of the key staples. A couple of solid suits, mm-hmm. And a blazer or two. And then if you want to add a fancy sport coat, that you can dress up or down, that's always nice too.
Very good. The basics. Get back to the basics. I like it.
The thing is, you want to make, the thing people don't think about is, I know I'm a broken record, but if you have clothes in your closet that don't fit, then you don't have it covered. So,
Right.
they might not fit because they're from the 90s, and the shoulders are real big. So you might think they fit, but they don't really look contemporary.
Right, that blue blazer from 60 pounds ago.
Right,
It's not
and
going to cut it.
the looks have changed, and we carry slim fit suits that you don't have to look like Ryan Seacrest to get in. So we carry we call a modern fit. We do carry a more aggressive slim fit for the younger crowd that want that, and classic fit. But the look now is a little more tailored, as you probably realize. So an older suit or a 3-button suit is not really the look now. It's all the basic suit is a 2-button suit that's been around for a while, and so you might want to update your wardrobe with the basics.
Very good. Now, how about any specials or anything going on now that people should know about?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Right now we have a buy one get one half off for tailored clothing, or we call it shoulder garments, which would include tuxedos, sport coats, suits, or any outerwear coming up in the next season. So if you buy any of those items and combine them, you get half off. So that's a great value. And our prices start at like $99 for a suit or a tux to own, not to rent.
Well, very good. So Barry Zeeman from Barry's Tuxedo and Menswear. Somebody out there, they said, hey, you know what? My stuff's 10 years old, or I don't have what I need. What's the best way to get in touch with you? Or is it just come by the store? Let us know the best way.
Well, we're conveniently located there in the corner of 53 and John Morrow, across kitty corner from the mall in Gainesville. But our phone number there is 770-534-7685, or if you just remember barrysmenswear.com, you'll find us there as well, where you can also shop and find some other items that we don't carry in the store.
Well, Barry, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks so much for giving us the update, a little bit of education, a little bit of history. I loved it. Susan.
Thanks for having me.
Ron, thanks so much for sharing about Peach State Bank and Trust. And Dr. Bill Lampton, it's wrapping another show.
Yes, and we find out every week what wonderful community leaders we have.
That's right. So check out these local businesses, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, right here on North Georgia Business Radio.